Welcome back, boils and ghouls. It is trivia time. Now, tonight's Twisted Tale is the story of Jim Steranko and the X-Men logo. Jim Steranko is a name that means a lot to me, and I think it means a lot to a lot of comic book veterans, as well as people who are younger who delved into the history of Nick Fury. He's the guy who basically defined the psychedelic out there post-Steve Ditko psychedelic Marvel look. You know, Nick Fury, the original, like, one-eyed brown hair with the white, the David Hasselhoff looking, you know. Oh, you don't know why I say that? Watch for another video. Anyway, let's talk about Jim Steranko right around this time period, actually. He's working for Marvel, and Marvel's got this title that is selling abysmally. And this title is, I don't know, you might have heard of it, you might have not. Some people haven't. I mean, a lot of people haven't. Uncanny X-Men. And Uncanny X-Men was this little story. No, but seriously. So, like, X-Men was like, it was going the way of the dinosaur. And there were a few people who thought, with a lot of work, maybe we can actually get this title to work. Man, I should start writing scripts. Anyway, so to get it to work, they decided that they were going to concentrate on not just telling some great stories, but doing some incredibly dynamic interior artwork. So they call up Jim Steranko. And I've read a bunch of interviews with Jim Steranko where he claims that he was going to work like uncredited, like under a pseudonym. But that doesn't really add up, because he also says later in those same interviews he was going to sign the covers, and he only filled in on a few issues. And like, I'm only aware of one issue that his name is missing from the credits. So I don't know, maybe he like really quickly flipped on that or what was happening, but it's not, that's not all there. Several decades down the line, it's not all intact. Telephone doesn't work that way. Jim Steranko does do the issues, and he did the absolutely legendary X-Men 50 Polaris cover. And I mean, his signature is big. It's prominent on there. And he said that because he had basically developed a name and a reputation and people sought him out, he didn't want his name involved in crap. He goes to Stan Lee, this logo is garbage. And like, I don't know for sure, but because of when Jack Kirby came around in comics, you had to be able to pencil, ink, letter, color. You were a one-stop shop. For this reason, I would guess, I have never read 100% for sure that Kirby did design the original X-Men logo, but I believe it was Jack Kirby who designed it. And that logo is just garbage. Like, it's not like fun and kitschy and silly and old school to look at like the original Fantastic Four. It's just dumb looking. Like, I don't even know what's up with those dumb little spikes down at the bottom. Squiggly. This comes with sharp little squiggly teeth. Steranko apparently had the exact same opinion of that logo as I always have, which was that it was just a flaming dumpster wreck. So Steranko goes to Stan Lee, and he's like, dude, my name is really big on this, really what I think is a pretty cool cover, you know, I'm pretty proud of it. I think it did pretty good, and that logo sucks. Can I please put a new logo on there? Stan Lee comes back with, we like have to copyright those logos. They cost us money. We paid someone to design that. It costs us money when we redesign them and stuff. And Steranko's like, don't worry, I'll do it for free. Just take I just want my art to look good, basically. And Stan Lee is like, do you think you can do better? And Steranko basically says, like, I don't think so. I know I can do better. Steranko has said numerous times over the years in interviews that I read with him before I knew this, that he was a better architect or graphic designer than he was a comic book artist. And I never believed it until I read this story. Jim Steranko gets the okay to design this new X-Men logo. This is something that he had not done prior, like when he did the cover. It's something he wanted to do but didn't even know if he could get permission to do. Interior artwork, the cover, on a fill-in deadline, and then he goes to Stan Lee and he's like, by the way, I want to completely redesign the logo. And Stan Lee, let him, and the logo that he designed, the new X-Men logo, that is the X-Men logo. The amount of places, the amount of merchandising that has showed up on, art and comics, is astounding. It's just like, it boggles the mind. That's been like 40 plus years, I think 50 almost at this point. And like, they really haven't tinkered with that design at all. They've played with the color schemes, but so did everybody else. Even in the beginning, Steranko did. And that is awesome, because he did that on top of all of the other art duties on a fill-in deadline. Holy shit. Now the crappy part. Remember how I said he went to Stan Lee and was like, look, just let me design it. I'll do it for free. Steranko didn't bother to negotiate any rights to the logo, and he's never seen a penny off of it. Please don't let this devolve into in the comments section into like the warring factions of Stan Lee. There are going to be people who are down there who are like, this is more proof that Stan Lee is Satan and he's evil and I'm going to go piss on his grave. And then there are going to be people who are like, Stan Lee is a saint and he never did anything wrong. And he didn't even probably know about any of that lawyer stuff. And let's be realistic, guys. The truth is somewhere in between. Did Stan Lee know that Steranko was basically doing him a favor by redesigning this logo if it was done well for free, and that he could dump it if he didn't want to keep the logo? Yes. Did Steranko feel like originally he was doing Stan Lee a favor? No, he thought Stan Lee was doing him a favor by letting him do it. A guy who maybe should have known better, and a younger guy who should have learned better but didn't know better yet. You can't really piss in any one person's cereal bowl here. That's my opinion. For all intents and purposes, X-Men was a terribly selling title. So let's be realistic. If the publisher had told Stan Lee to dump the title, Stan Lee had to dump the title. He didn't know that the title was going to be around in a year, let alone 50 years. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure Stan Lee got a substantial amount of that money, especially originally, before he left the comics group section of everything. But he wouldn't have the proper motivation to be going into his office and maniacally laughing like, Steranko will never know what I've done, and in 60 years we'll be selling this at a place called Hot Topic in the mall. On t-shirts to children. Yeah. People are people, and people make mistakes. I think everybody probably made a mistake in this situation, and it sucked. Especially bad for Jim Steranko. Ooh, yeah. But, what are you going to do? Hope you guys enjoyed. If not, tune in tomorrow. Totally different fact about a totally different thing. If you did enjoy, please hit that like button. It helps me out a ton. Get down there in the comments section below. Let me know. Hulk smash that subscribe button. If you do that, make sure you ding the little notification bell to keep up with these doses of trivia that I'm always dropping. And you might be interested in some of the larger stuff I'm rolling out for the channel as well. Maybe not. Either way, thank you so much for sticking with me. And again, I hope you enjoyed. And as always, I really, truly, and honestly ask only two things, everybody. Keep hitting your local shops and keep reading comics.